Hello, Christina Rezo. Thanks for tuning in to the video and happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Just like, share, and subscribe to the video if you are a new viewer. So, uh, if you hear some noise in the back, it's still raining down here, in addition to some thunderstorms. We had them earlier this morning, and it sounds like it's going to come back. So, if you hear noise in the background, that is why. Okay. Um, Everything's beyond God's control, right? Despite of the hot weather we had last week, um, we still need rain. So I'm going to cover at least three different stories briefly because they aren't very long. So I'm going to combine them. And this video may be just as lengthy as the one yesterday, or shorter, or a bit longer. So let's see. It'll be a stretch. I don't have a problem with this with Rumble and Spotify that's connected to my podcast, but YouTube is a different story. So hopefully YouTube will be able to take this lengthy video. So the first one, we got another woke story of my favorite sport, baseball. In addition to baseball, this past weekend, and I didn't have the privilege to get out of the house because I really wasn't feeling well. I suffered from some minor injuries after a fall. Um, I tripped and fell and scraped parts of my knees and elbows. So I was home Saturday, and the Chicago and New York were playing, White Sox and Yankees. And when I lived in Chicago and New York, I did watch both teams play. No, I don't agree with the politics up there. They're both extremely liberal, but yet there are flaws. Whether they want to admit it or not, Chicagoans tend to be jealous of New Yorkers, and New Yorkers are very proud and thinking that they're the best city globally. So I tend to be more of a Yankee fan. I've been a fan since '98. Okay, so you can do the math how long I've been a fan. And I've had to suffer persecution because everybody and their mama hate the Yankees and they love to see them lose. Now, I don't know with this story if it had anything to attack the Yankees per se because they were at home when this happened, this woke incident. So I'll give you a brief story and I'll read a couple of the paragraphs of what happened. Bottom line, this player of the Yankees by the name of Josh, I think his name Donaldson, got suspended because he called a guy from the White Sox, Jackie Robinson. His and this fella's name is Tim. Let's see, Tim Anderson. Okay. Despite of the fact in previous years or when he first started, he himself called himself Jackie Robinson. You had other players like Robinson Cano that used to play for the Yankees for quite some time. They went to the playoffs several times. I think Derek Jeter was still playing with them. And he even wore his socks like Jackie Robinson, in addition to another black player by the name of Curtis Granderson. Now, I don't know if he's still in the leagues or not. The last I heard, he was playing for the Mets when I was in New York, and I would tease Met fans because I knew more of them than Yankee fans. Like, yeah, you got our guy now, blah, blah, blah. So, this guy, Tim Anderson, decides to become sensitive to the whole matter. What Jacob Roberts, Donaldson, excuse me, called him Jackie after they got into a little scuffle or whatnot. And uh, Tim Anderson got himself in a bunch because he knew this would draw attention. Even though I don't think that Donaldson implied anything racial, because Anderson himself, once again, called himself Jackie Robinson. So it sounded like it was more sports trash talk. And you men out there who are sports fans and play sports, you know more about this than us women about trash. Even in any highly testosterone environment, whether it be construction, and the police department, the fire department, maybe even the EMT field, emergency services, where you got a bunch of guys, they're gonna tease each other and you know play tough. Okay. And yeah, this guy just got on TV and seems like he was gonna weep. And I know I don't play at all. I know it was a play, but I don't play at all. And the guy apologized. He said it wasn't meant to be anything racial. And I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure the guy is sincere about that, about it not being racial. I mean, okay. Let's say, as a conservative, I come out more recognizable as a conservative American commentator, right? And someone comes at me, even if they're, despite of their political beliefs, comes at me and say, "Oh, hey, Candace Owens. Oh, hey, Condoleezza Rice. Oh, yeah, that's a racial slur. You don't say that to me." And I'm more conservative than the both of them. But oh no, you hurt my feelings calling me that. That's a racial slur due to melanated content and gender. Really? If anything, that would be a compliment, especially if I'm called Condoleezza Rice. Even though I don't look anything like the two of these beautiful ladies, but still, I'm gonna get myself upset. I even been mistaken as someone else thought they knew, and these were both black, white, and Hispanic people thought I was somebody else. And yet I'm gonna get myself upset and say, "Oh no, no!" Especially if the non-black people saying that to me. This person may be wonderful that they're talking about, because in some ways I do have that familiar face, especially with my glasses on. So they see glasses, they see me a short person, maybe the same stature, they're gonna assume that I'm someone else. I've only had that a few times. Big deal. Okay, let's say LeBron James is another sensitive one. Say, "Oh, you're over 6 feet." No, you don't say that to me. He actually did that to a couple of fans that called him a name or something. Whether it was racial or not, whatever. But yeah, he went back to tell the referee, "Look at what these people said to me." Knowing these people mean nothing to him. They're not gonna go home with him. They don't pay for his chefs, his all white staff chefs. They don't pay for his his cars, his mansion. You're not gonna see those people again. Most likely, I mean, unless they're season ticket holders. And if you see them again, so what? You know how many times Spike Lee have heckled people at the Madison Garden? Oh boy, I mean, because baseball, I mean, you don't get woke on on the sport that I really like. Now with NFL, however, the National Felons League can do whatever they want. Speaking of which, an ex NFL drafter attacks a United Airlines employee, knocked the man out through the baggage area. You know where the baggage conveyor belt, that thing. Now they said that the employee struck him first. I don't know. 75% of these NFL guys are thugs with criminal records. So, it's going to take me some time to actually believe that this employee struck him first. or he may have said something he didn't like. Maybe he pointed his finger at him, like you need to do this, this, and this. And then the NFL player got physical. But we'll get more into details with that. But I actually saw the NFL ex-thug, ex-drafter thug, hit the employee several times. I mean, he's really like a boxer, and the employee standing his ground. He come even after he got knocked back out in the conveyor belt. He stood up and said, "Okay." He had a bruise on the side of his eye. He like, "Come on with it, come on with it." So I mean, and that's as far as I've seen. And then that's when everybody intervened. But I don't understand why the men didn't say, "Okay, hey man," or at least physically pull them back. Maybe if it were a woman, then that would have been different. And the employee was trying to, be like a bad A, okay? And maybe that's why the guys didn't really, pull push the NFL player guy away. Say, hey, don't do this, just leave it or whatever. Now, whether charges been filed against this person, I don't know. There's under investigation. I'm sure I'll find out more, especially who instigated the fight in the first place. Now, news headline with, we got exciting things coming up in the summer, starting next month. We get the Pride, more wokeism, Pride Month, um, Juneteenth, that's coming on. Ironically, it's going to fall on Father's Day this year. And Walmart decides to advertise an ice cream and sell it. Now, I don't know if they actually made the ice cream or not, but it was in the Walmart freezers because anytime you can tell it's Walmart because it's like great price or great something, like that little blue and white sticker on the side. You know it's Walmart. So of course, people who have been enforcing this day, even though they don't clearly know what it's about, the background, they just want it, for privilege's sake, and it identifies blacks and slavery, even though they have no idea what it was. I couldn't care less. I was against the holiday in the first place. Yeah, last year, the first day we had the day off, and it was a federal holiday. And black people are saying it's only for so-called quote us or them. I'll say them because I'm not for it. Well, you know what? Since it was a federal holiday, everybody gets the day off, just like Dr. King's Day. All right. So if you want to only black holiday, they're not going to make it no federal holiday. You think the states are going to waste their time and say, okay, most black people live here, so we're going to celebrate that. You do that in your own home or whatever. Most black people live in the South. But I don't think they're just going to make it, like a whole slave map again. Because that's what it's going to sound like. So you can't win. It's going to sound like a whole slave map again. Only these states celebrate Juneteenth. That's not going to work. So you talk to your president about that. You pushed him to do that. You helped 87% of you helped put that man in office. You write to him and tell him that you have issues with it. Now, so far, since Walmart got the backlash, I think they're going to go ahead and take it down. Now, I do have to run in Walmart tomorrow. If it's still there, I don't care. But I think it's going to take some time because it takes a lot to store merchandise into a place. Okay. But when you open your mouth and you insist on having something, you got to know what you're talking about. Or have something simple like, you're going to have something like that. Okay, a Hanukkah, or like a Hanukkah or Chinese New Year or a Cinco de Mayo. Okay. Um, then just celebrate it like that and then just leave everybody else alone. If it's St. Patrick's Day, we don't have those days off, what I just mentioned. If you want to celebrate Juneteenth, go ahead. If other Americans want to participate, like a single day mining on St. Patrick's Day as their excuse to commit debauchery, then let it be. You ain't gotta make it a federal holiday. I mean, that's how I would look at it. Okay. So I mean, that's my take on it. I mean, personally, I don't support. Just like the so-called Black National Anthem, which is what it wasn't originally called. It was actually a poem written by James Weldon in the early 1920s, and it was called "Lift Every Voice and Sing," with I believe two or three standards. And the second standards is about slavery, and yet Black Americans want to be in an uproar about that as well. Christina Renzo, thanks for listening. Pray for our nation and pray for our brothers and sisters in the persecuted church globally. And let's honor this country as one nation, one country, and under the true and living God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Talk to you super soon.